Do you ever look at your retirement savings and feel a pit in your stomach? That quiet, nagging feeling that no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you save, is just not going to be enough. You're not alone. A recent 2024 study from Northwestern Mutual revealed a terrifying gap. The average American believes they need $1.46 million to retire comfortably, but the average amount they actually have saved? Just over $88,000. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. For years, I thought the problem was me. I wasn't saving enough, I wasn't investing aggressively enough, I was doing something wrong, but then I realized the truth. It's not your fault, and it's not my fault. The game is rigged. The traditional path to retirement work for 40 years, max out your 401k, and hope for the best is a system designed for a world that no longer exists. It's a system that has quietly shifted all the risk from the corporation to you, the individual. The system isn't broken, it was designed this way. In this video, we are not just going to talk about saving more, we are going to pull back the curtain on the three hidden forces that are systematically making it impossible for the middle class to retire. I'll show you exactly how the rules were changed, why your 401k is not the safety net you think it is, and most importantly, I'll share the blueprint for how to stop playing their game and start building your own path to financial freedom. This is the conversation no one is having. Let's start it now. Let's start with what I call the great risk shift. Think about your parents' or grandparents' generation. Many of them had something that is almost a myth today, a pension. A pension was a promise, it was a defined benefit plan. The company would say, "You work for us for 30 years and we will pay you a predictable, guaranteed income for the rest of your life." The company took on all the risk. The stock market crashed. That was their problem. You lived to be 100. Their problem. It was a true retirement plan. Then, in the 1980s, everything changed. Corporations, looking to cut costs and liability, discovered a loophole that became the 401k. It was marketed as empowerment, as giving you control over your retirement. But what it really did was shift 100% of the risk from them to you. Now you are the fund manager. You have to decide how to invest. If you make a bad choice or if the market tanks right before you retire, that's your problem. You have to guess how long you'll live and make sure the money lasts. Run out of money at age 85, your problem. The 401k isn't a retirement plan, it's a savings account with tax benefits and a direct line to Wall Street's volatility. According to Vanguard's own How America Saves 2024 Inches report, the median 401k balance for someone aged 55 to 64 is less than $100,000. That's not a retirement, that's a crisis waiting to happen. This shift alone would be bad enough, but it happened at the exact same time that wages for the middle class began to stagnate. Data from the Economic Policy Institute shows that for the last 4 decades has soared, but the hourly pay for the average worker has barely budged when adjusted for inflation. Meanwhile, the costs of the three pillars of a middle class life, housing, education, and healthcare, have exploded. You are being asked to save more money than any generation before you, with wages that aren't keeping up for a retirement that has zero guarantees. If you feel like you're running on a treadmill that's getting faster and steeper every year, you're not imagining it. That's the design. Inaction means accepting this design. It means you could work your entire life, do everything you were told to do, and still end up greeting people at Walmart in your 70s. Not because you want to, but because you have to. That is the consequence of playing a rigged game. So, if the game is rigged, what do? Do you just accept it? Do you work until you're 75, hoping the market is kind and your health holds up? That's what the system wants you to do. It thrives on your quiet compliance. But there is another way. It's not about playing their game harder, it's about building your own. This is the core philosophy of financial independence, or FIRE. But it's a version of FIRE supercharged for the world we live in now. I call it the Freedom Blueprint, and it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a fundamental redesign of your relationship with money, work, and life itself. It's built on three pillars that give you back the control that the system took away. The first pillar is the most important and is the one thing you have absolute control over. Starting today, your savings rate. The old system tells you to save 10 to 15%. That's the recipe for working for 40 years, maybe more. The Freedom Blueprint is built on saving 40, 50, or even 60% of your income. The math on this is brutally simple. If you save 10% of your income, You need to work for 9 years just to save enough to cover 1 year of living expenses. But if you save 50% for every year you work, you save enough to cover an entire year of living expenses. Your path to freedom isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in years of saved expenses. A 50% savings rate cuts your working career from 40 plus years down to about 17. That's not a small change, that's a different life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Save 50%? I can barely save 5%. That's the system talking. Let's make this real. Take Sarah, a software developer making $90,000 a year after taxes. She lives in a city like Austin, Texas. Her rent is $2,000 a month. Car payment, insurance, and gas run another 700. Food, utilities, and entertainment easily eat up another 1,500. At the end of the month, she's spending over $4,200 or $50,000 a year. She's saving, but not at a rate that will ever lead to freedom. The freedom blueprint isn't about telling Sarah to stop buying lattes, it's about questioning the big expenses the system told her were necessary. Does she need a $2,000 apartment, or could she find a roommate, or move to a slightly less trendy neighborhood and cut that bill in half? Does she need a brand new car, or could she buy a reliable used car with cash, eliminating that $700 monthly drain forever? By making just those two intentional changes, she could slash her annual spending by over $20,000. Her savings rate skyrockets from under 20% to over 40%. Just like that. This isn't about deprivation, it's about intentionality. It's about plugging the leaks in your financial life, the subscriptions you don't use, the car payment for a vehicle. That's a status symbol, the constant impulse to upgrade. Every dollar you intentionally don't spend is a dollar that buys back a piece of your future. Your savings rate is the speed at which you achieve freedom. Nothing else comes close. The second pillar is the ultimate cheat code against the rigged system, geo-arbitrage. The system traps you in a high cost city because that's where the good jobs are. But in a world of remote work, that chain is broken. Geo arbitrage is simple. You earn your income in a strong currency, like the US dollar, but you live your life in a place where your cost of living is a fraction of what it is back home. Let's go back to Sarah. She is now saving over 40% of her income and has built up a solid nest egg. But her expenses in Austin are still around $30,000 a year. To retire using the 4% rule, she'd need a portfolio of $750,000. That's a long road. But what if she took her remote job or her freelance business to a city like Lisbon, Portugal? According to data from Numbeo, the cost of living in Lisbon is nearly 50% lower than in Austin. Her rent for a beautiful apartment in the city center could drop from $2,000 to $1,000. Groceries are 40% cheaper. A meal at a nice restaurant is $10, not 40. Suddenly, her annual expenses aren't $30,000, they're 18,000. Her fire number just got cut almost in half, from 750,000 down to 450,000. She didn't have to earn a single extra dollar, she just changed her location. She gave herself an instant massive raise that the system can't touch. This isn't a fantasy, it's how thousands of people are accelerating their path to financial independence right now. They broke the link between where they earn and where they live. The third and final pillar is building your own income engine. The 40-year career is based on a fragile dependency on a single employer. One layoff, one restructuring, and your entire financial world collapses. The Freedom Blueprint is about diversification. It's about building multiple independent streams of income so that no single event can derail you. Your goal is to build an engine where your assets, not your time, are generating the income you need to live. For Sarah, this starts with her savings. She's not putting it in a low yield savings account. She's investing it consistently into broad market index funds like VTSAX. With a portfolio of $450,000, even a conservative dividend yield of around 1.5 to 2% would generate over $8,000 a year in passive income. That's nearly half of her annual expenses in Lisbon paid for by her portfolio forever. But it doesn't stop there. She can build other streams. Maybe she starts a small consulting business on the side, leveraging her software skills. Maybe she creates a digital course teaching a skill she's mastered. Or maybe she buys a small rental property in a lower cost market that generates a few $100s a month in cash flow. The goal isn't to replace her job overnight, The goal is to build redundancy, to build an engine where eventually the combined output from her investments and her side projects covers her annual expenses. The moment that happens, she is free. She has won the game. These three pillars: a high savings rate, geo-arbitrage, and multiple income streams. They work together as a system. They create a powerful feedback loop. A high savings rate builds your investment base faster. Geo arbitrage dramatically lowers the finish line, and your income engine starts generating power that makes the whole system accelerate. This isn't about just saving for a distant, uncertain retirement. It's about building a life of freedom and options. Starting right now, it's about reclaiming your time, your most valuable and non renewable asset, from a system designed to steal it. The path isn't easy, but it is simple, and most importantly, it is possible. Okay, that was a lot. The system is rigged, and the solution involves a high savings rate, geo arbitrage, and building an income engine. I get it. If you're feeling a mix of excitement and total overwhelm right now, it sounds like a mountain to climb. So let's forget the mountain for a second. Let's just focus on the very first step. Before you change a single spending habit, the most critical step is a mindset shift. You have to move from being a consumer to being an owner. The system is designed to keep you in a consumer loop: earn money, spend money, get a little bit of lifestyle inflation, and repeat. You are a passenger in a car that's driving you towards a 40-year career. The owner mindset says, I am the driver. Every dollar that comes into your life is a tool, it's a seed. You can either consume that seed now or you can plant it so it grows into a tree that provides for you later. This isn't about being cheap, it's about being powerful. It's seeing a $10 expense not as just $10 but as a future dollar of freedom that could be working for you 24/7 for the rest of your life. Until you make that mental switch, any budget will feel like a prison. Once you make the switch, a budget becomes a blueprint for your escape. So, what is the first practical action? It's not a dramatic life altering change, it's simple. For the next 30 days, you will become a detective. Your mission is to track every single dollar you spend. I don't care how you do it. An app like YNAB or Mint, a simple spreadsheet, or a notepad. This is not about judging yourself. It is not about cutting back yet. This is about gathering intelligence. You cannot win a game if you don't know the score. At the end of 30 days, you will have the most important financial document you've ever seen: a clear, honest picture of where your money is actually going. You will be shocked. You will find subscriptions you forgot you had. You'll see how much those daily coffees actually add up to, and you'll see the true cost of your housing and transportation. This is your starting line. Once you have that data, you can avoid the most common mistake people make. They focus on the small stuff. They try to cut out lattes and cancel Netflix, feel deprived, and give up after a month. That's a losing strategy. The owner mindset looks at the data and focuses on the big wins. For 99% of us, our biggest expenses are the big three: housing, transportation, and food. A 10% reduction in your rent or mortgage by moving or refinancing has 1,000 times more impact than a lifetime of skipping lattes. Selling a $30,000 car with a $500 monthly payment and buying a reliable $8,000 car with cash doesn't just save you $500 a month, it frees up over $20,000 of capital you can immediately put to work. Focus your energy on winning the big battles, not the small skirmishes. The other huge mistake is analysis paralysis. You spend 6 months reading every FIRE blog, watching every YouTube video, and comparing 100 different index funds. You get so lost in optimizing the perfect plan that you never actually start. Remember, a good plan executed today is infinitely better than a perfect plan executed next year. The cost of inaction is far higher than the cost of making a small mistake. You don't need to be an expert to start, you just need to start. Open the investment account. Make the first transfer, even if it's just $100. Automate it. Action creates momentum, and momentum is what will carry you out of the rigged system and into a life of your own design. The system wants you to stay stuck. Prove them wrong. Start today.